I grew up a Republican, and I just want to know, what exactly does it mean to be conservative now? I voted for John McCain. He was a decent person. I grew up at a Baptist church, and I thought there was some kind of dignity and honor and morality and decency. And I left the party after a month, after people didn't see voting for a man who cheats on his own wife as a red line. I didn't like Bill Clinton because he cheated on his wife, and I don't like him to this day. But what exactly do you mean by traditional family values? You went 3 times to the bowling location, 16, 20, and 24. And you said, I'm going to vote for the guy that rapes women, who molests little girls, who cheats on his wife, who's lied over 30,000 times, who lies on his taxes, cheats on his wife, asked for the execution of 5 black people, didn't rent to black people, stole from cancer charities. What exactly is it that is conservative? Because I'm curious. Oh, you're fiscally conservative. He added $8 trillion to the debt. It's at $36 trillion now. While you're not eating, he's playing golf, hosting big events with his rich friends, tearing down the East Wing, sending $40 billion to Brazil. What exactly do you stand for? Would Jesus vote for a rapist? Would Jesus vote for a pedophile? Would Jesus vote for a convicted felon? You know, I was named after Paul, who was formerly Saul of Tarsus. And you know what he did? He said, you know what? I was wrong. And he repented, and he went on, and he became one of the most well-known writers of the New Testament. Wrote letters while he was in prison. So when I hear these fake Christians, you Pharisees, say, no one's perfect, you're right, they're not. But people of faith admit when they make a mistake, and they go and they sin no more. How could you serve 2 masters? How could you rejoice while he says, I hate Taylor Swift, and you cheer it on? How could you call yourself pro-life while women in Texas have a 56% increased mortality rate from Roe versus Wade being overturned? How could you be pro-life when you didn't care about the life of E. Jean Carroll that he raped, or the 25 women that he sexually assaulted, or Amber Thurman who died from lack of health care, or the 4 officers that took their own lives after January 6th from the PTSD, or Sitnik that passed away? How could you call yourself pro-life when we lose 43 or 45,000 people every year from gun violence? Children are being identified by their dental records, but you're pro-life. But nothing to see here except thoughts and prayers. But when a racist podcaster is the victim of a school shooting, oh my gosh, all of a sudden, you care about life. You cherry-picked that one life out of the tens of thousands that are victims of gun violence. Have you ever thought one day when you stand before God how that's going to go? And God's going to ask you, all my kids here from Uvalde, from Sandy Hook, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, you said nothing, but you cherry-picked just one life. And he's going to ask you, why was that one life worth more? You didn't know him. You never met him. He didn't know your name. I told you to love thy neighbor as thyself. All of them. They're all your neighbors, but you only cared about that one. Every 4 years, Republicans ask themselves, are you better off? And see, that's the problem. Me. It's selfishness. Jesus literally gave his life for people and said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. After everything they did to him, he still asked for compassion. Where's your compassion? Where's your empathy? How about the immigrants? You just want them here legally? Okay, let's just go with that for a second. I want them here legally too. I want everybody here in a legal way. But it's not really what that's about, is it? Because you had no problem voting for a rapist who's a white man, or a felon, or a pedophile, or a man that cheats on his wife. You had no problem casting a vote for that. Why is that? Because he's white. That's what conservatives really means right now. Make America white again. That you will justify any form of immorality, indecency, lack of integrity, as long as the person's white. That's what conservatives mean now. Has nothing to do with Jesus or God. It is weaponizing religion to push your white male patriarchy. And I would say this, I think that God did send Donald Trump here to expose the moral rot within his church. You, the MAGA movement. For all of you that left his church, his house, because your pastor wouldn't say the name of a racist podcaster, good. Get out of his house. He doesn't want you there because you weren't there for God. You were there for yourself. You were there to hear something that you wanted to hear, that pushed your version of nationalism, of the white male patriarchy. You're why people leave the church, evangelicals. They're not leaving God. They're rebuking you because you're a piss-poor reflection of what Jesus stood for. You can say, I'll pray for you all you want. What are you going to say? Hey, Jesus, this is the 43,541 mass shooting this year. But God, thoughts and prayers of the family. There's just nothing I could do, God. But God, there's a tampon in the boys' bathroom. This is a sin, God. Can you please just send these people to hell? Oh, God, there was a transgender in women's sports, 0.001%, God. That's against your will. That's what you stand for. No morality. As long as you benefit from your white privilege, that's all you care about. That's a shame. Because I used to be a proud conservative. And now it's just turned into white supremacy. Maybe you should go find Jesus. Because one day, you are going to stand before God. And you're going to be accountable for all the atrocities, the demonization, tearing people down, bullying people. And maybe my purpose by making videos on YouTube like this, maybe that's my talent. Maybe that's why I went through the darkness when I was a kid. Because I see right through you. You're all insecure and you're scared because you see your version of white America going away. And for those of you that think this is a Christian nation, you might want to actually do some history. Because if you think that Jim Crow and slavery and Wounded Knee and the Trail of Tears and the 1.4 million African Americans that died on the Middle Passage, Asian internment camps is a Christian nation, then maybe if you did a little bit of self-reflection, you would realize how ridiculous that actually sounds, that you think Jesus would even tolerate any of that for 1 second. But I'll pray for you, evangelicals. Maybe one day you'll find Jesus.